I've got Terry Lynch with me from Power Metallic. Terry, thanks for joining us.
It's always good to see you, man.
So the big talk this morning, I woke up at 4 in the morning and I checked Twitter for some reason, or X as the kids are calling it now, and I saw that there was this big announcement in the middle of the night that the tariffs against China from the U.S. were going to be reduced down to 30%. What's your read on what's happening right now?
Well, it's interesting. I think that's really good for the market. The market's, been responsive today. And I think we're entering in a period of the world's not sure what's coming down. So there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and maybe this starts to add a bit more certainty, which would be good. It'd be good to whatever they decide to do it and do it. So then we can get around with sort of making our plans based on that. It seems like it's up 50%, then it's down 20%, then it's up 100%. How can anybody plan?
Yeah.
So it's really tough. So I see that as a positive move. That maybe that's a move to that. And we were very lucky to have closed our financing a week before the shenanigans started.
Yeah.
Because it's like I was just chatting with somebody at the roundtable. I said we probably would have raised 20 million less, same number of shares. It's just 1 week off, with no difference in the company, but impact on the market.
What's your read on what's happening with gold right now? I mean, we are on an unbelievably massive tear here. I know we're down a little bit at the time of sitting down because of that tariff announcement, but not down as much as I thought we would be.
You know why? Because there's a reset going on, and gold is now considered like cash for national banks and on their treasury, on their balance sheet. I was talking with Eric Sprott the other day. He said, Terry, the number is 160 billion. I said, what's that number? He says, that's the amount of cash flow that'll probably be happening with the gold industry next year. 80 million ounces times $2,000. He says, that's going to generate, a lot of, cash for these guys. What are they going to do with it? So I think, that's the thing. Like you're watching, check out your producing cash flow of these operating gold companies. They are making money hand over fist now. What are they going to do with it? That's key. So I think that's going to be impetus to some more M&A. There'll be a trickle-down effect because at some point they've got to start to put money back into the ground and build these, to get more capacity. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. And of course, generally junior mining doesn't take off until gold takes off. Well, gold has taken off, but junior mining still hasn't taken off. You look at TSXV, still bumping around the bottom. It's broken out of the trend a little bit, but it comes back down. It's not really gone charging forward. So I still think we have some fundamental issues there that we haven't fixed. But the more the gold goes up, the more better it is for mining, for sure.
It's so tough too because we look at all these companies for a living, right? Like we're doing daily earnings videos or stories on everything, and it's so tough to look at anything on a relative valuation standpoint because it's hard to say that there's true price discovery when there's not a whole lot of capital flowing in, right? Like it's kind of like we're dependent on share structure and sentiment towards management teams, and
as you say, the true price discovery is not as universally accepted as we would like it to be. Yeah.
So let's get into Power Metallic. The Lion Zone keeps expanding. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so we got another 14 holes in the winter program to come. We'll report in a couple weeks on about half of those, and then maybe 5 weeks on the balance. And then we'll have 6 rigs up and running within about 10 days to drill something over 100,000 meters between now and the end of 2026. So we got tremendous amount of progress to make there. We think we've made a world-class discovery. The definition of a world-class discovery is really 1 million tons of contained metal. The interesting thing about the Lion Zone is it turned our deposit into an orthomagmatic discovery. And those orthomagmatic discoveries are literally the best mines in the history of mining. Norilsk in Russia, Voisey's Bay, Sakatti, Zhejiang. We're one of the 20, say. So they're either a major, 1 million tons, or a super major, 10 million tons. So, we think we're closing in on 1 million tons now. Can we make it a super major? I don't know. The asymmetric upside is there. We certainly got the ground to do it on, and we've got the cash in the bank to make it happen. So we'll see.
So what can you tell us about the exploration plans for 2025?
So we finished the year in the winter season with 3 rigs. We're going to scale to 6. We'll basically start with 4 in the first week in May, add a 5th about 3/4 of the way through June, and add a 6th in July. Just sequence them in, and we'll basically be drilling nonstop between now. With the breaks will be moose break is September 15th, October 15th, turkey break, which is Christmas, and then goose break, which is what we're in right now, which is sort of late April to late May. So, but we'll be drilling from now until the end of 2026.
So you once branded NISC as being comparable to Norilisk. Is that still the case? Are you still seeing that?
Yeah, well, it's an orthomagmatic discovery, so exact same type. So, we've got grades that are comparable to what they have at Norilsk. Norilsk has it over 1 kilometer. I don't know if you know the Norilsk story. The only $1 trillion mine in the history of the world, $1.4 trillion, 90% of the valuation is from 1 square kilometer. Think about that. When you think about how easy it would be to miss a square kilometer, it's really an unbelievable concept. So we have that type of grade, but only over 20 meters. So they have it over 1 kilometer. Yeah. So it's obviously we're hoping it stretches over a few more kilometers, and but I mean that Norilsk is like a one of a kind, I would say. But we are Norilsk-like, and we have Norilsk grade, and it's we're racking up the tonnage.
Okay, last question for you. What should investors or anybody who's watching this that has you guys on their watch list, what should they be looking out for in 2025?
Well, I think first time it's a great time to be looking at us because we just did the financing, right? Average the investors came in at $1.45. Robert Friedman, Rob McEwen, the top mining funds. Stocks $1.20, $1.25 because of the whole Trump shenanigan thing. So great timing because we don't need cash. We're cashed up, ready to go. So the catalyst really, this will be a resource-driven story. So as we announce assays, we're growing the resource. The thing's going to grow. We were able to raise that much capital. You can imagine in this market to raise $50 million. It has to be a pretty hot story because there's tons of great stories out there. So people put that money in not to get 10% of their money. They're looking for several times on their money. We think that's going to happen generally just because this resource is going to grow. So as the resource grows, the valuation should grow. Should be an exciting year for Power Metallic.
Let me sneak in one other question. I got to ask you about Save Canadian Mining. I know that it's something that's near and dear to your heart. Can you give us any update of what's happening there?
Yeah, we've been pushing a lot of sort of thought leadership positions out on X, in LinkedIn. We're about to pull in a new management team there to help us. We're doing some fundraising. We're looking for companies like Power Metallic gave 25,000. Scotty Resources gave 10. We've had a bunch of these good guys coming in with. So companies need to help us get the story out because what we need to do is we need to basically, I think, we spent $100,000 in Save Canadian Mining to hire a litigation firm to give us advice as to whether or not we could scale a lawsuit. Because we're going to have to sue these guys to make changes, and we're going to have to embarrass them in the public market. Okay, those are the two things. We've asked them nicely. We've given them the science, given them the evidence. They've done nothing. So we've got to smack them in the head, and we need to do it now because what a great time. Look, this thing should be ripping. Our market should be ripping. It's not ripping because of stupid things like the short market exemption, which allows hedge funds to have rights that you and I don't have. Yeah. It's just unbelievable that our governments could allow this to happen. It's got to stop.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that you're taking it on because there's just so many of the companies, they don't really kind of understand that when you're part of this community, you have to support it or else there is no community. Right?
That's the thing, man. And that's what everyone's got to realize. Each person can have an active role in making a change. And each company, you don't have to, if you can contribute 5,000, great, do that. Make a contact, I'm very accessible. People can get a hold of me. They know that, Save Canadian Mining is doing things. I ran for the board of PDAC so I could bring this cost to PDAC so I can get PDAC to do the things that they should be doing to support this industry. And, we need to have champions that are doing this every day. I'm too busy with Power Metallic, which is, I'm paid, that's who I'm working for. I've got a big, position in it myself, obviously. So I got to do right by my shareholders. But Save Canadian Mining is ready to push through now. We're ready to make the changes. Listen, Trump has woken up Canada, okay? If Canada doesn't waken up now, there won't be anything left, okay? Carney's gotten in now. He's got a mandate to make real change, okay? He needs to make real change or we're not going to be around. So one of the things he needs to fix is the capital markets. I know it's a provincial jurisdiction, but they're going to get rid of trade barriers. They can get rid of the security issues. This shit's got to stop.
And I have to say, that when we talk about politics and just following even Pierre Poilievre and Carney and hearing them both talk about it, it feels like they totally missed the mark of. There's two things that young people really care about right now that's kind of driving their thought process. It's one, well, they can't afford a home, they can't afford shelter. But the other thing is there's no jobs out there for them. And from my viewpoint, that's a lack of investment in business. And I mean, the Bank of Canada was ringing the bell that there's a lack of investment in workers.
You know what happened last year, Steve? I was shocked. I was at the PDAC board meeting, and they gave us some data there, which they subsequently shared, so I'm not talking at school on this. In all of Canada last year, we only raised $20 billion. I'm talking everything, banks, insurance companies, financials, oil and gas, industrial. We usually raise 100 billion plus. And that's a sign of a dying economy. So, I mean, mining raised half of that. So the rest of the industry only raised 10 billion. That's nothing. That's a good IPO in the United States. I mean, like, we got to wake up. I mean, it's crazy. You know, like, but I went to Korea. I was speaking at a critical mineral forum in Korea. And those guys are kicking ass and taking names because they have a strategic plan. They got a vision, but they had no resources. They got smart people with a strategic plan. They're working it. You know, Canadians have been so lucky. Biggest market in the world, 25% of the world's free water. A lot of it's natural resources, and we can't get it our own way. I mean, come on. Now Trump, you know, he's giving us a chance to have a wake-up call. Yeah. And either we're going to respond or we're finished. So I hope we respond. You know, it's time.
Well, on that, I appreciate everything that you do for the Canadian investment community, and as a shareholder of Power Metallic, I also appreciate the results you made.
We're glad to have you on board. All right. Cheers.
Thanks, Terry.